He invited his poor ex-wife to humiliate her, but she arrived in a Rolls-Royce with triplets. The grand ballroom glittered with chandeliers and polished marble floors. Guests in shimmering gowns and designer tuxedos clinked glasses of champagne, whispering about the wedding of the year. Adrian Wallace, the wealthy businessman everyone admired, was finally marrying the glamorous socialite, Bianca Hayes. But among the whispers, there was one subject that stirred even more curiosity: Adrian's ex-wife. Yes, she had been invited, and everyone knew why. Adrian had never forgiven Clara, his ex-wife, for being beneath him. When he married her years ago, she had been a simple woman from a modest background, full of warmth but lacking the polish of high society. His family had sneered at her, and Bianca, who once circled their social circle as a friend, often mocked Clara's thrift store dresses and simple manners. When Adrian divorced Clara, he made sure she walked away with nothing. He left her with a broken heart, an empty bank account, and the sting of humiliation. Now he planned to showcase her failure by inviting her to witness the life of luxury she had missed out on. Whispers spread fast. She'll come in rags. He'll humiliate her in front of everyone. But no one expected what happened next. The golden doors of the ballroom opened. Heads turned. Instead of a timid, broken woman in worn clothes, Clara swept into the room with elegance that silenced the crowd. She wore a stunning emerald silk gown that shimmered under chandeliers, her hair styled in soft waves, diamonds glittering on her neck and ears. And then came the true shock. Behind her, 3 children walked hand in hand, dressed in matching little tuxedos and dresses. Triplets. The crowd gasped. But that wasn't all. Outside, the valet had just parked a gleaming Rolls-Royce Phantom, its silver hood reflecting the lights of the city. Clara had arrived like royalty. Adrian's smirk faded instantly. Years earlier, when Clara and Adrian were married, life hadn't been easy. Clara had been a supportive wife, cheering Adrian through his struggling business days. She cooked, cleaned, and believed in his dream when no one else did. But when Adrian's business finally took off and money started flowing, everything changed. Success inflated his ego. He began attending elite parties, spending nights with people like Bianca, who always made snide remarks about Clara's cheap appearance. Clara remembered one evening vividly. She had worn her favorite blue dress. Simple, but it made her feel beautiful. Bianca laughed in front of everyone, whispering loudly enough for Clara to hear. Did she get that from a clearance rack? Adrian hadn't defended her. He had laughed along. The final blow came when Adrian told Clara coldly, "You don't fit into my world anymore. You hold me back." And just like that, he divorced her. Clara left with nothing, except the secret she carried. She was pregnant. Adrian never knew. When Clara discovered she was expecting, she decided not to tell him. Why? Because she wanted her children to grow up away from his arrogance, away from a man who valued money and appearances more than love. She struggled in those early years, working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, and still making sure her babies, Owen, Olivia, and Oscar, were always cared for. Nights were spent rocking one baby to sleep, while another cried, exhaustion pulling at her bones. But Clara never gave up. Her turning point came when she met Mr. Sterling, an elderly millionaire who owned a chain of luxury hotels. Clara had started as a housekeeper in one of his properties, always polite, always hardworking. Unlike Adrian, Mr. Sterling noticed her kindness. He saw her potential. Over time, he mentored her, teaching her business management, investments, and property dealings. When he passed away, to the shock of many, he left her a significant inheritance and shares in his company. Clara was no longer the poor ex-wife Adrian thought she was. She had built herself into a respected businesswoman, wealthy, powerful, and most importantly, independent. The guests could not stop staring. Whispers filled the air. Is that Clara? She looks incredible. Where did she get the Rolls-Royce? Are those Adrian's kids? Adrian's face turned pale. He hadn't even realized Clara had children. The bride, Bianca, tightened her grip on his arm. Her smile faltered as jealousy burned inside her. The sight of Clara commanding the room in elegance, with 3 beautiful children by her side, made her blood boil. Adrian forced a smile and approached Clara. Well, he said loudly, trying to regain control of the room. "I didn't think you'd actually come. Looks like you dressed up for the occasion." Clara met his gaze calmly. "Of course I came. I wouldn't miss seeing what you've turned your life into." The guest chuckled nervously. Then Adrian's eyes flicked to the triplets. "And who are these?" Clara's lips curved into a knowing smile. "These are my children. Owen, Olivia, and Oscar." The crowd buzzed. The resemblance was undeniable. The sharp jawline, the piercing eyes. They looked like Adrian. Bianca's face turned crimson. "Adrian, they look like—" Clara cut in smoothly. "Yes, Bianca. There is." He never cared enough to find out. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. Cameras flashed as people captured the scandal of the year. Adrian's confident mask cracked. "This is ridiculous. If they were mine, you should have told me." Clara's voice grew firm. "Told you? So you could use them as trophies? So you could laugh at me while I raise them alone? No, Adrian. They don't need your arrogance. They need love, and they had plenty of it without you." The triplets looked up at her with pride, their little hands gripping hers. Bianca, seething with rage, hissed, "She's lying. This is just a stunt to ruin our day." But the guests weren't buying it. The children were living proof. One older gentleman stepped forward, Mr. Sterling's longtime lawyer. "It's no stunt. Clara has built her own empire. She's now one of the majority shareholders in Sterling Hotels. If anyone here deserves respect, it's her." Now the whispers turned into admiration. "She's richer than Adrian now. She raised 3 kids on her own. What a queen!" The music stopped. All eyes were on Clara. She leaned closer to Adrian and said softly but firmly, "You invited me here to humiliate me, Adrian. But the only person humiliated today is you." With that, she turned gracefully, her gown flowing behind her. The triplets followed, holding their heads high. As she exited the ballroom, the valet rolled up the silver Rolls-Royce. Clara and her children stepped inside like royalty. The doors closed, the engine purred, and the car glided away, leaving Adrian and Bianca standing in stunned silence, their perfect wedding shattered. The guests began to leave too, many whispering about how Clara had just stolen the show. Adrian's plan to disgrace his ex-wife had backfired spectacularly. In the month that followed, Clara's story spread across society. She became an icon, the woman who rose from betrayal and hardship to success and grace. Her children thrived, loved deeply and never lacking anything. They grew up knowing their mother had fought for them, that she had chosen dignity over wealth, love over pride. As for Adrian, his marriage to Bianca quickly crumbled under the weight of public scandal and mistrust. The empire he thought made him powerful began to shrink, while Clara's only grew stronger. In the end, the woman he once tried to destroy was the one who proved unbreakable. And she never needed his approval, because she had built a life far greater than he could ever imagine.